My parents always warned me not to look out the window at night. I just discovered the horrifying reason why. Since I was a child, they would always say, "Don't look out the window at night." I often asked why, but they would just shrug with a creepy smile. Over time, I stopped asking, but I could never have imagined the horrifying secrets my parents were hiding. Our entire town followed this strange tradition, so I thought it was normal. But when I went to college, I noticed that other students didn't have the same rules. During Christmas, when I returned home, my parents reminded me again not to look out the window. I smiled and reassured them I wouldn't. However, as soon as they left the room, my curiosity began to grow. Lying in the dark, I made a decision. I was going to look out the window. As soon as my hand touched the sheer white curtain in the guest room, I froze. A memory flashed through my mind from when I was 12 years old. My parents were talking in the kitchen. I had stayed home with the flu and was heading to the sink for water, but stopped in the doorway. I hid behind the wall, peeking out just slightly. My mom was crying, and my dad was holding her, rocking gently. "That poor little girl. I feel so terrible for her family," my mom whispered. My dad just nodded, continuing to comfort her. After that, I went back to my room. Several hours later, my dad came into my room with some wooden boards and began to nail my window shut. "Why are you doing that, Dad?" I asked. "Oh, it's just for safety," he replied. The next day at school, I learned that a little girl had been found dead early that morning, her window shattered and curtains torn. I snapped back to the present. My hand jerked away from the curtain. I shook my head, scolding myself for such strange thoughts. What's the worst that could happen? It's just a window. It can't hurt me, right? As I reached out again, something in me screamed to stop. My stomach churned as my hand moved closer and closer. Just as I touched the curtain, a piercing howl echoed from the forest near the house.